what is going on, guys? It's Triple G here, back with another Tiny Tina's Wonderlands video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the end game that has been revealed that will be at launch for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and it is very exciting. So today, Gearbox released a very small amount of footage and a dev diary which dove into all the details about the end game, and you should be very excited. The Wonderlands gameplay and the Wonderlands end game looks like a mixture of Wonderlands or traditional Borderlands mixed with some Hades and then mixed with some Destiny as well. So there is a ton of things to go through, so let's get straight into it. So the end game for Wonderlands is called Chaos Chambers. Now, a normal Chaos Chamber run is a randomized challenge that should take around 20 to 30 minutes to complete. Your path through the dungeon goes like this: 3 randomized dungeon rooms where you'll need to clear out a number of enemies before you can proceed, then a mini boss fight followed by 3 more dungeon rooms, and then finally a full-on main boss at the grand finale. Once you have done all that, you will have access to specific loot and random loot that you can get from these little cute bunnies at the end. Each time you complete a room that isn't immediately before a boss fight, you'll open 2 portals which will give you a degree of choice over what you'll encounter in the next room. You'll have 3 lives to make it to the end of the dungeon. Lose them all and your run is a failure, but don't fret, you still get to keep any weapons or gear that you've picked up during that run. Completing Chaos Chamber runs is a great way to farm for loot once you have finished the main story campaign, but it's even more important for those who are looking to min-max your gear and assemble all the pieces of the perfect character build. By successfully beating the Chaos Chamber, you'll earn moon orbs, an in-game currency that you can spend at the enchantment re-rolling station in Brighthoof. So these are going to be essential if you don't want to farm for specific roles and you want to re-roll things. This material, this resource is going to be absolutely essential. So we've touched on moon orbs as the in-game currency you'll get after the Chaos Chamber run, but crystals are what you're going to be looking for during the run itself. You can pick up crystals in a variety of ways during your run, but the most satisfying method is also the most consistent, which is by smashing a crystalline rainbow glowing die that spawns when you completed a room and opened up the portal to the next one. So you need to be looking out for these. The more of this that you get, the more loot that you can get at the end of a successful run. How many crystals you collect impacts how many rewards you can score at the end of a Chaos Run dungeon, so it's crucial to snag as many crystals as you can during your run. You can amass bonus crystals by completing optional side objectives that are randomly assigned to each room with a wide variety of possibilities. Then we move on to the blessings, which is where this Wonderlands endgame starts to move into some other traditional games like Hades or maybe Godfall. Over the course of the Chaos Chamber run, you might stumble on some ornate looking altars that offer unique buffs called blessings. If you cough up enough crystals to activate the altar, you'll receive a blessing that applies for the remainder of your run, with subsequent altars costing more to activate as a consequence. Blessings are stackable and can be as straightforward as increasing critical hit damage or ammo capacity, though others may completely change up your playstyle for the rest of the run. Blessings to your passive skills can also be imbued by the Queen Butt Stallion herself if you choose one of her portals at the end of the encounter. The 2 portals that spawn when you've beaten a room can come in 4 different varieties: a crystal die that rewards you with more crystals, Queen Butt Stallion's favor via a helpful blessing, a gear die that awards you new loot when you beat the encounter, and an added layer of challenge in the form of a new curse. Now, curses are the polar opposites to blessings. Obviously, debuffs you or boons for your enemies that last the rest of the Chaos Chamber run and can make it much harder for you to survive. You'll at least have an inkling of the kind of challenge they'll bring, as curses offered are marked as easy, medium, or hard. By taking on a curse, you'll be rewarded with extra crystals in exchange for the amped up difficulty, and some of the easy curses might even benefit you if your build can take advantage of that. So once you have completed the Chaos Chamber, you will be presented with a final room where you can spend these crystals. You cannot take crystals out, so you need to spend them all in here, and you will obviously go up to these little bunny shaped things and you will trigger them and they will send you a lot of loot. Now, one of the unique things about Wonderlands is that you can traditionally farm Wonderlands like you would have Borderlands with for dedicated loot, but you can use this Chaos Chamber as an alternative source for loot and just keep running this if this is the type of content that you enjoy. Previously in Borderlands 3, you had dedicated drops and you had dedicated drops in the takedowns. It looks like the Chaos Chambers are going to provide you a source for everything indeed. If all that doesn't excite you as well, there are going to be official end screens to the Chaos Chambers. The number of enemies, melee hits, the time it took, it's going to be incredible. It's something that people have always wanted and will also fuel some community driven challenges, I'm sure, as these statistics will be there for everybody to see. If that's not good enough either, there will also be a way for you to really test out how good your build is, and this is something called a featured run, which will be available for a week to all players, and that particular run is seeded, so it will always be the same. You can rerun it and the same elements will always spawn in the same place, with the side objectives always being the same. This is the benchmark. This is like a hardcore raid or a hardcore strike or a nightfall in Destiny. This is going to be a weekly prescribed run that you are going to get an official end screen for. It will always be the same for everyone, and you can really put your build to the test and grab those bragging rights. You're even going to get a percentage of where you performed against the rest of the world. So if you get in that top what percent, you can post it on all the social medias you like, and nobody's ever going to be able to take that away from you. Now, I would like Gearbox to take this a step further and put leaderboards actually in the game so you can look and compare against people. But at this point, it looks like they're just looking at the end screens as well. So a ton of information all in this video today, guys. First of all, Chaos Chamber, a randomized series of rooms and bosses which will reward you with actual loot, will also give you resources you can use in the wider game. It has blessings, it has curse, it has a wonderful end screen, and you're also going to have a fixed weekly set of parameters that you can then benchmark against other people. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise I'll catch you on the flip.